Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to this week of what's new and coming up with lipedema, and we do have a couple things to talk about. But first, I'm here with Catherine Seo, pointing in the wrong direction, I think, um, the CEO and founder of the Lipedema Project and Lipedema Simplified as well. And then I am Siobhan. I'm the research specialist with the Lipedema Project, so I have a tendency to geek out and send text messages like, do lymphatic vessels use ketones? So the answer is apparently yes, which is good to know. But if you guys are here with us, please pop in the chat so that we can know that you're here and where you're coming from, what the weather's like, what you're doing, what you had for breakfast, whatever you feel like sharing. I'm always interested to see what people are up to.
Oh my God, it's so gorgeous here. This is my ideal day. It's the sun's out. It's warm, but it's cool. The colors are bursting. It's what I love about being in New England because the trees right across from me on the lake are all these it's like a little island in the middle of the lake, and it's orange and gold and in between all the green. Here, let me see if you guys can see it. Can you see it?
Ooh, yeah,
Isn't
that
that
is so pretty.
gorgeous? I've been looking at it and I'm like, oh my God. I mean, I've spent lots of Octobers driving around, and I've done some driving around, but this is just sit here and look out the window. I, I feel blessed beyond anything I can even say. It's just so wonderful. Oh wait, we got people talking.
Yep,
Hello from
we've
New
got
Jersey. Hi, Akanksha.
Hi Akanksha out of New Jersey. And then we also have Ella from New York who said that she would like some guidance on more clinical articles about lipedema as I'm a nurse and will be undergoing my first lipo in a week. Thank you for all that you do. So let us know what kind of articles you're looking for. Are you looking for like diagnosis and general information or interventions or surgery in particular? There's luckily and sometimes tricky to navigate, but there is a lot of publications on lipedema. So just let us know what you're looking for, and I'm sure we got a few in our stack that we can send your way.
So I just want to let everyone know that Leslyn Keith, who is usually on Fridays at this time with us, or sometimes and more often than not, Leslyn and Siobhan do this, what's new and coming up with lipedema, is at a conference, a lymphatic conference in Atlanta, Georgia, presenting this weekend.
Yeah, very awesome. Do we know what she's presenting on?
No, it's a good idea. Yeah, no, I don't know. Let me
We'll
see.
have
I'll
to have her catch us up. Oh, it might be on the schedule actually.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Um,
see if I
yeah,
can
in
find it.
terms of the weather here, it is also my favorite weather, which means it is gray and very chilly. And we do have some leaf turnage. It's not as pretty as where you are, Catherine, but we do have some golden leaves all over the place on trees. And then I saw a little bit of red too, which I was excited about. So not as colorful as when I was in the Midwest, but still, I like it a lot.
Yeah, you grew
Uh,
up in the Midwest, so you're used to some of this.
Yeah. I think what eventually I was talking to my husband about it because we were discussing like, oh yeah, sometimes people in the U.S. have residences in like one state, but then also another state. It's not that weird. Um, and I was saying, oh, maybe we could have like a cabin up in the middle of the woods in like Maine or Michigan or something for like a autumn place because we both really like Colorado and we want to stay here long term. But I have to say the autumns are not as pretty and colorful as some other places in the U.S. So you might have to have a vacation cabin at some point. And Winetta said, hello from gloriously sunny Anchorage. Some fall colors are hanging on, but past peak here, although the larch trees are glowing golden in the sun. I have no idea what a larch tree is, but it sounds cool. And Ella got back to us and said, understanding cellular processes and where metabolic disruptions occur. Does your site have a library of topics? So I think a good resource would be Leslyn's flash briefings. She goes over a bunch of the different studies that are available on lipedema. And each episode is, like less than 15 minutes, I think. So they're very quick. Yeah, I think that would be the best resource if you're just looking for like total geek out stuff, because it'll give you a quick summary, and then typically you can look up the paper yourself and read through it and deep dive if that summary catches your attention. And then Don said, hello from Wisconsin. Hello. So while Catherine is looking up what Leslyn's presentation is about, we do have a couple things coming up on our end. So the first one is tomorrow, and it is the surgery masterclass. Okay. I'm looking for my thing. Here it is. So the first one coming up is tomorrow. It's at 3 p.m. Eastern time, and it is Lipedema Surgery Simplified. So this is a free webinar on surgery, as you might expect. And this is a little bit different from our typical webinars because it's going to be pretty in-depth and extensive. And I think it's longer than our usual webinars, right?
Yeah, we usually have an hour, and that's not enough time for people to really dive in. So it's going to be 2.5 hours with some time for Q&A. So there's the link that you can sign up for it. It is a no-cost webinar. You can get the replay for a nominal charge. Yeah, that's it. We have Michelle Jacqua, who will be speaking. Actually, I think she'll be doing more than speaking. She'll be doing Q&A, and she is our new director of our surgical concierge program. And she is a nurse navigator. She's been working in this area for many years. She herself has lipedema and went through the process, and she's an expert in insurance coverage.
Yeah, and Sandra said, what time is the seminar? So for the Surgery Simplified masterclasses, we're calling it, it is tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. So that is going to be 1 p.m. Mountain Time, noon Pacific, and I don't know all the other time zones. So, but that should give you a general idea. You should be able to navigate from there. And then Rhonda said, hello from windy Kansas. We sure could use some rain. The lake we live on is at 57% capacity. Wow. Kimberly said, chronic fatigue syndrome, even after over 100 pounds weight loss, eating carnivore, doing fast of 42 hours, diligent and very compliant with conservative therapies. Stage 2, type 3/4 lipedema. So that is an excellent thing to bring up. We have had Raymond Perrin on both at some of our events, and then we also did a bonus Q&A with him. He focuses a lot on chronic fatigue syndrome as well as long COVID, using a lymphatic stimulating technique that focuses a lot kind of in this area. And the reason he does that is the theory behind it is that it helps drain the lymphatics of the brain. And then another thing it hasn't been like clinically tried for chronic fatigue syndrome, but we do have some people in the community using it, is Perry Nicholson's Big Six, which is another lymphatic stimulating technique. So Raymond Perrin, I would say focuses the most on chronic fatigue syndrome, but we do have people in the community who use both. And I think it's really cool that we're now kind of exploring this further of, okay, I've done this stuff and I still have some lingering things. What are some other things that I can work on to address it? So this is something that I've gone through myself as well. And I did find the parent technique really useful. I ended up utilizing it for about 6 months, and then I switched over to the Big Six from that point. Dr. Raymond Perrin has a website. He has a book that you might be interested in where he talks a lot about the theory behind what he does and the mechanics and stuff like that, as well as some of the technique. So that might be a good resource. So,
okay. Yeah, I just want to say that the who has CFS? Kimberly. Dr. Perrin has done breakthrough work with CFS. Sorry, Siobhan is mentioning it, but I just want to say his work is breakthrough. So you want to be sure to follow up with it.
Yeah. I learned a lot at the workshop that we did with him. I was a person before that who thought that chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia were conditions of exclusion. I was clearly behind in my knowledge on that, so I'm glad I got caught up to speed on how it's diagnosed, the treatments that he's using, and the kind of results that he's had. The other cool thing is that people at that workshop, a lot of them were practitioners. And so it wasn't just getting feedback from Ray on what he's experienced in terms of his clients, but also the clients of the people who attended that workshop, which was really informative for me to learn about what they were seeing.
And Netta adds, he has a concise guide to the parent technique, and it's available on Amazon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Juanetta said, interesting that Perrin's work is so focused on CFS. Yeah, I agree. It is interesting. The possible mechanics behind what might be happening are really interesting to me. And I'm glad that it's getting more attention because chronic fatigue syndrome in general, there are some doctors who still say, it's a psychological disorder, things like that, which we've heard with other things before. But there is more information coming out that there does seem to be a lymphatic system component to it. And Kimberly is already doing the Big Six. So yay, Kimberly. Hopefully the information from the parent technique will also help out.
So we have one more thing. Well, actually, I want to hear about your ketone project. Let's save, we have a CSIG coming up and we want to talk a little bit about that. But Siobhan, why don't we hear about your ketone project?
Yeah. So let's see, what week am I into? I'm coming up to the end of the second week. And what I'm doing is I'm fasting twice a week. And I ended up going for 2 times a week because it's just what my body is saying. Yeah, let's do this again. Let's do it again. So it's like, okay, we'll do what you want. You're the boss. So I've been doing 36 to my most recent one was 54 hours of fasting, supplementing electrolytes, and then also having some ketones, exogenous ketones with that. So the ketones, to catch anybody up to speed who hasn't heard about this before, is I'm already on a ketogenic diet, and that means that my body produces its own ketones, but you can also take products that either are precursors where they'll go to your liver produces, like converts them into ketones that then release into the body, or the one that I'm using is a bioidentical. So as soon as I drink it, it's immediately bioavailable. And I just personally like the brand, so that's why I'm using it. And I know the owner. So I'm trying that out. The main reason I actually started was weight loss. So last November, I had decided to focus a lot on weight loss because I did have some weight that wasn't lipedema related at that point that I wanted to address, and hopefully some areas impacted by lipedema as well. And I did make a lot of progress through that, but over the past couple of months, I had stalled out. So inches were staying the same, wasn't gaining, wasn't losing. And that's a fine place to be in, but after a few months, I was like, okay, let's shake things up a bit. So I decided to do the ketone fasting, and so far things have been really good. It's feeling really, really good. When I'm not fasting, I'm on a 80 to 85% fat ketogenic diet. That's what I often do best with. And then I have lost some weight, so that's nice. I'm kind of waiting until Monday for my official 2-week numbers, but I will say that I've lost half an inch off my waist, so that's nice. And that was after the first week. So yeah, I'm really curious to see where it's going to go long term. In terms of ketone levels, I'm getting to so on non-fasting days, I'm typically around 2 millimoles, which is fairly deep ketosis in itself. And then on the ketone fasting days, my last reading yesterday morning, after I broke my most recent fast, was 4 millimoles. So double what I'm usually at. And that was with no taking any ketones within at least 12 hours. So, yeah, quite high. And on that day, I didn't take any additional ketones that day. So in the morning, it was at a 4. And then by the evening, between 3 and 5 p.m., it was still at 4. So unfortunately, I don't have a continuous ketone monitor, which does exist, but is not available in the US. But presumably, I was in very, very deep ketosis all of yesterday, and I felt like the best I felt in a really long time. Like mentally, I was really able to focus really well. I was really positive. I had a lot of energy. I was able to work on some projects that I have ongoing, got a good amount done, took care of work, and it was just like I was almost buzzing. So, with all that said, I'm enjoying it quite a lot. Tomorrow is not going to be a high fat day because I'm going to Fogo de Chao with some friends of mine. And for those of you who don't know, it's a Brazilian steakhouse, which is all you can eat. So that is going to be a very high protein day because I will get my money's worth.
Oh, yeah. That sounds good. What's the name of the place?
Fogo de Chao.
What is it?
Fogo de Chao. So FOGO space DE space CHAO. So it's a Brazilian steakhouse, and then it's one of the common chains in the US. And then the other common one that I've seen in a couple different areas is Texas de Brazil. So those are two of them. So basically, you pay a flat fee, and then you get all you can eat meat, and they have all sorts of different types. They have lamb, they have beef, they have bunch of different cuts of beef. They have chicken and pork, although I usually skip those because they're cheaper meats, so I'd rather just eat all the expensive stuff.
Oh my God. I just, okay. I'm looking to see. I doubt if they'd have any in Boston.
Yeah, there are also in some places local places, although
Oh my
most
God,
of the
they do.
ones. Oh, they do.
Oh my God, they have one right near me.
Yeah, it is expensive. I will tell you that. This is like a special occasion because one of the family of friends has a birthday this month. So that's why we're going out. But it's like a once a year thing that we do because we're a bunch of big meat eaters. We go to an all you can eat meat buffet.
So how much when you say what's $50 a person?
50, yeah. So usually these types of places are somewhere between 50 and 80, and it depends. Because sometimes there are local places, like not one of the chains, that are cheaper. So if you can find one of those, I always recommend local. Um, but Fogo de Chao and Texas de Brazil are usually around that range. And Juanetta also recommended Argentine Grill. Interesting. I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, there's one in Providence, Rhode Island, which is not far from me. But they have appetizers. They have shrimp cocktail, seafood tower, lobster and shrimp. But I think that's extra.
Yeah, so the full experience is the all-you-can-eat portion, and with that, you get access to their salad bar, where they also have stuff like smoked salmon, which I usually get some of. They have like mozzarella and tomato. They have a whole bunch of different stuff at the salad bar. They also have appetizer, which we usually shoo away because we don't want them. And then they have a whole bunch of different types of meat.
My
Vanessa
God!
said
You can add Wagyu, which is the for $150.
Yeah, I'll bet it's expensive. I have had Wagyu sashimi precisely once in my life, and it's very good. However, if you're gonna have Wagyu and you ever intend to travel the world, get it in Japan, because a friend of mine goes to Japan like once a year, and he found a place that had all you can eat Wagyu for like, I think it was like $30, and then an additional like 10 for drinks. What? Where? It was just this like tiny hole in the wall spot. And it's like, well, you have to be able to speak Japanese to get in, and like all this stuff. It's like, I can do that. That's fine. For $30, sure.
Oh my goodness. I just want to answer Linda Christina about a replay. There is a replay of Dr. Perrin and Dr. Perry in the replays from the event. You need to purchase those if you're interested, or if you got premium during the event. So those will be available, and I think they'll be out soon. Okay. Well, you got me with all of the really. Oh, that sounds so good. All right. So the last thing that we want to share is about our what we call the CSIG, which is a coaching special interest group. And it's about oops, why can't this didn't work? Why didn't this work? Here it is. And here's the link. Just coming out now. Oops. Go ahead, you do first. Okay, there it is. The intro is on October 24th. It's a 3 or 4 week course, but all the information is on the page. And here comes the page. Okay. learn.lipedema-simplified.org/free-webinar. And that is, I'm going to go back to the intro is October 24th, which is this coming Thursday. I think it's at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Hold on, let me double check. I just want to double check so that I give you the right time. Yep, 7 p.m. Eastern time on Thursday with Carrie Reedy. The topic is supporting detoxification for lipedema management and weight loss. We've been talking a lot about detoxing lately. I think part of that is all of what we've been learning about the lymphatic system, and what at the core is detoxing. That the lymphatic system builds up all these toxins. And what our task is really is a detoxification process. So I just want to say, come to the intro. Carrie is amazing. Do you want to add anything, Siobhan?
Just that I agreed that Carrie is amazing. So I find it interesting because detoxing can sometimes be like a little bit of a buzzword, like do this to detox or do so and so to detox. But it is true that those of us with lymphatic disorders and things like that, like as we're moving the lymph, it's gonna have to re-enter the blood supply, and some people can feel really quite crummy when that happens. So
Mhm.
figuring out some mitigation steps and what is actually happening there in all of that stuff, I think is really, really useful. And coming about it from a science-backed view and a really practical view is really important to me personally, just with everything that we're talking about. So it's a very cool opportunity for me to learn something new.
Ah, that sounds great. So I'm looking forward. I'll be there. And so I think that might be it for today. Anything else you want to add?
I think that's it. I'll give a report back on how Fogo went later about all
Okay.
the meat that I ate.
Oh yeah, please let me know because I'm like thinking, oh my God, how am I gonna do? Yeah, really, I want to do this.
I took my mom to it, and she was pretty low key about it when we were there. But then Dad was talking to me later, and he was like, "Yeah, your mom's trying to figure out where one of these locations is around here," and they went there for their anniversary, I think.
Oh, how nice. All right, everyone. Thank you. Siobhan, have a fabulous weekend. I want to hear.
Okay, will do. All right, bye, guys.
Bye.